everybody, how are you? Welcome to another fun-filled Stampin' with Faith video. I am Faith Steinberg, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today we are in our October series. October we are using the Perfectly Plaid bundles. So we have our Perfectly Plaid stamp set along with our Pine Tree Punch. Today you will need just one stamp image, and that is your tree here in the middle, all that fun-filled goodness. So I will set my stamps and tree punch aside as I have everything prepared for you already. So you're going to go ahead and pull out 4-2, which is week 4 card 2. So we'll go ahead and pull out my pieces. As I do, over here to this corner, you can see our finished products. Let me pull these pieces out, and then I will show you. This is what our project will look like for today. Absolutely gorgeous with that brass paper behind it. And we are going to use some gold paper. We will also need for today, I'm using the gold glitter gems that came, you got those week 1. If you are not a part of my Thursday night stamp class or club and you would like to be, definitely let me know. I'd love to be your demonstrator. So reach out to me, Stampin' with Faith on Facebook, or Faith Steinberg on Facebook, or you can email me, stampinwithfaith@yahoo.com. I'm going to go ahead and separate our card parts. Your ink, you will need Shaded Spruce is our ink of choice for the day. So go ahead and grab your Shaded Spruce out of your tin. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just tell you measurements here on camera as I measure. So we have our card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5. It is scored at 4 1/4. We have a Shaded Spruce piece of designer series paper or cardstock. I can't talk today. It is 5 1/4 by 3.5. And out of this, what I have done is I've done 3 punches of our tree. So I'll show you how I did that. So what I did is I put the paper into the punch as far in as it would go. But then I lined it up here on the side, right in that little groove. I know you probably can't see that well on camera, but you line that up and you punch it. Then you come to the other side and do the same thing. Line it up so that it's just on the edge and punch. And then you're going to come in and do the center. And as you can see, it's going to separate a little bit because those trees right here will overlap, but it will matter not. We're going to actually embellish that opportunity right there. You will need also a designer series paper in your kit, or if you are just stamping along. This piece is 5 1/4 by 3.5. I have chosen to use the bells in this case. Then out of your brushed metallic foil paper. This one is 5 1/4 by, looks like 3/8. No, I'm sorry, that is 5 1/4 by 5/8. Yes, those are 5/8. Just a little over a half. It really doesn't matter. You're going to cover a small portion of it. So just so as you have just a little over a 1/2 inch. So actually, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our designer series paper. I'm going to grab a silicone mat, and I'm just going to add some adhesive to that silicone, or to the back of the designer series paper. Wait, I really cannot talk today. Let's put our sample where you guys can see. And that way you know kind of what you're doing here. That's a little easier. All right, so on this piece here, I'm going to take my designer series paper and I'm just going to kind of center it. You will see that you have that it is shorter on the top and bottom than it is on the sides. So your sides, you will probably have about an 1/8 of an inch border, but on top and bottom, you'll probably end up with about 1/4 of an inch border. Again, just eyeball it. You don't have to necessarily line it up. Then we're going to take our metallic pieces, and I'm going to add adhesive to those. Again, this silicone mat comes in really handy because your adhesive won't stick to it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to line this up and make that rest of that border. So it's going to line up. You'll have that 1/8 of an inch at the top. You'll have that 1/8 of an inch on either side as well. Then your next step is to grab your shaded spruce piece. It doesn't matter if you go this way or this way. It doesn't really matter which direction this goes. But you do want to also put adhesive kind of in the middle where those trees got kind of punched out a little bit. Bring back your card base, and then you're going to cover the edge of that DSP, leaving a little peekaboo here, and then your brass foil paper sticking out on both the top and the bottom. Now we are going to go ahead and we are going to grab our DIY stamp positioner. You should also have 2, and I don't see them in this pack. My apologies if you don't. What you will need 2 of the Whisper White stamped trees, or punched out trees. I see they're in the card packs, but this particular pack didn't have one, so my apologies. I'll just grab a scrap here, or grab a sheet or something. Hopefully I keep Whisper White really close by. I apologize for that. I thought I had them ready. All right, so you're gonna need 2 of those. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that punched image right there inside the stamp apparatus, or the mini DIY stamp positioner. In this case, I have, as you can see, I've already lined this up. So what I do is I put my stamp on my positioner where I think I want it to kind of go, wherever it has room, and then I put the close the lid so that it picks up the stamp. I ink it up, stamp it, and then I line up that template, and then I put my magnets on. So now we're going to take that template and insert our tree into it. We're going to ink up the tree with shaded spruce, stamp it, give it a back rub, and then we're going to lift it off straight up if you can. Perfect. And I think something got shifted on that one because it didn't quite line up. But it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt it. We're going to put in the next tree. Stamp it. Make sure it's lined up. Give that a back rub. Perfect. And pull that out. Alright, we'll go ahead and I'm going to grab a baby wipe. Baby wipes I find are the best thing in the world for cleaning these stamps when they're on the stamp positioner. And we'll close that lid and I'll put that stamp away in a moment. Let's go ahead and bring our card back in. Now we're going to grab our trees here. And you will need some of your dimensionals. I'm using the minis. If you have larger ones or regular ones, that's fine too. I like to use the minis just because of the size of the trees. I like to give it a little more stability. There's that one. And if you've notice how I'm just picking them up and placing them on there, it's because I've already actually removed the backings of all of my dimensionals. I remove it all at once, and then I cover that with a sheet of parchment paper because it won't stick to that either. So then we are going to line up our trees where we want them, right there in the middle. But the other thing that I'm also doing is where the tops of these trees are, I'm bringing the next set that I just put on dimensionals down a little bit. So I'll bring the card in a little closer, turn around so you can see. So I'm just bringing these trees in a little bit lower than this designer series paper, so it still peeks through. Then what we are going to do next, you also should have some little star sequins in your packets. I had these left over from another project, so I'm going to bring in my glue dots. This time I am also going to use my take your pick tool. I'm going to use my putty end, pick up that sequin, land it right there on the glue dot, pick up the next sequin, land it on the next glue dot. If you don't have the take your pick tool, I'm telling you, this is the best $10 investment you will ever make. You're going to use the pokey end of that take your pick tool, pick up your star sequin, and place them on the top of your tree. And my friends, it's as easy as that. Now, if you have your glue dot, like this one, I'm not sure how well you guys can see, but my glue dot's kind of sticking out. So I just use my pokey end of my take your pick tool to wrangle it back in, loop it in. It'll give it a little height, but that height will not hurt a thing. So just kind of ball up that glue dot if it's bigger than your star. All right, we'll put our glue dots back in. I like to keep my glue dots in this little Ziploc baggie in my little box just so that they don't get all dusty or dirty or anything. So now we are going to grab those glitter gems, and you will notice here in the center of your tree you have this white line space. That's what we're going to fill in. So again, I place the acetate down where the edge of the acetate is where I want that gem to come off, placing the larger ones at the bottom of the tree. I'm just going to use, well, not that one. I'll slide that off the acetate. I'm going to grab, next, I'm going to use a medium one. So I did a large one on the bottom, medium one next. And then, of course, then towards the top, we're going to use one of the smaller ones. Now, these do have 4 different sizes, so it's up to you which of the 4, which order you do it in and how you do it. But again, I didn't use 4. I just used 3. I think it looks better with just 3. So there you have it. That is it, my friends. That's all you have to do for this week's card. Don't forget, stamp a sentiment on the inside, gussy up your envelope, and send it on its way. I hope you had a happy time stamping today. I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.